Rena and Robert Mathis were looking at the charming home on a large wooded lot in Holton when they noticed something disturbing. They didn't know it, but the house belonged to Muskegon police officer Charles Chuck Anderson.
It was a full-length Confederate flag, so I'm like, I'm not liking this. There's one plaque on the wall. So I walk over to the wall and I read the plaque and it said KKK application. So I was like, I'm done. I say, I want to get out of here right now.
The couple put their findings on Facebook, and it got the attention of the community, leading to city officials announcing that Anderson was on leave pending an investigation. We went to the home to talk to Anderson, who was there, but his wife came to the door.
Can't say anything right now. Wish we could, because it would probably set a lot of things straight, but...
He's not.
Correct.
He's not a member of the Klan.
No, he's not.
Okay.
The incident has the attention of the Muskegon County NAACP.
We want a thorough investigation to be sure that when he goes out there and puts on that uniform and performs his duties as an officer, that he's being fair and impartial.
He says as a former police officer between 1998 and 2008, he believes the department has come a long way and asks for the community to be patient. But he says the NAACP will be watching and demanding answers.
Why would he leave it up and knowing that his house was being shown to be sold?
In September of 2009, Anderson shot 31-year-old Julius Johnson following a traffic stop when Johnson allegedly ran and then fought with Anderson, using the officer's own radio and club to bludgeon him. The officer then shot him. A Michigan State Police investigation found the shooting justified, but the then NAACP leader wanted more to be done, calling for a federal investigation that never came.
While there is no quick fix to these problems, we must face them responsibly and persistently. That means whatever we start, we must finish.
Johnson's sister said at the time that her brother begged for his life before he was killed. She was found guilty of lying to police and was sentenced to 3 to 15 months in jail. Here's what she said in 2009.
Every day I go just driving through the alley or just coming home, every day I live with it. And it's getting harder and harder by the day because we're still not getting answers. So and it's just, you know, I'm just ready to get some kind of closure so we can also move forward as a family. And it's just hard because they're not giving us any answers.
Now the couple who went through the house also want some answers.
I like antiques, but I collect things that I represent. Like I said, you can go in my basement. We have Detroit Lions, Red Wings, Michigan stuff, everything we associate ourselves with. So why would you collect something you don't associate yourself with?
Breaking news, more suspected missile launches by North Korea. Just this morning, President Trump downplayed North Korea's recent string of launches and told reporters he's received another, quote, very beautiful letter from Kim Jong-un. Let's bring in CNN national security reporter Kylie Atwood. Kylie, what's the latest?
Yeah, so tonight, North Korea has indeed launched some more ballistic missiles, a U.S. official confirming that to CNN. And this comes after they've continued to do this over the past few weeks. It's kind of a pattern that we're seeing here. 4 missiles were launched in less than 2 weeks before what we saw today. So why is North Korea continuing to do this? They got President Trump to the negotiating table, and now they're pushing the U.S. away. Of course, one reason that they're doing it is because the U.S. and South Korea are continuing their joint military exercises. We know that North Korea is frustrated and also intimidated by those exercises. But a source close with the U.S.-North Korea relationship also explained to me that the U.S. believes that North Korea could actually be carrying out these missile tests before they come back to the table with the U.S. And that's because Kim Jong-un said that North Korea would be working on mass production of its missile program, but they haven't perfected that program yet. So if they're going to sit down and discuss getting rid of their nuclear program, they want to have their missile program perfected, and that's what they're working on now.
And the president is very proud of his relationship with Kim Jong-un. He just walked onto North Korean soil earlier this year. He was talking about this with reporters earlier today. What's his response to all of this?
Well, we haven't heard anything officially from the White House tonight after this breaking news, but today, President Trump was telling reporters about a letter he just received yesterday from Kim Jong-un. It's a 3-page letter, and he described it when he spoke with reporters at the White House. Let's take a listen.
I think we'll have another meeting. He really wrote a beautiful 3-page, I mean, right from top to bottom, a really beautiful letter. And maybe I'll release the results of the letter, but it was a very positive.
So he's saying it's a positive letter from the North Koreans, but he's taking out some of his frustration in this ongoing situation with the South Koreans, who are the traditional U.S. ally here. A source at the White House explaining to me that Trump has grown increasingly frustrated with South Korea as these missiles have been launched, and that's growing a tension between the two countries.
Officials say multimillionaire Jeffrey Epstein has taken his own life in a New York jail.
Epstein pleaded not guilty to charges of trafficking dozens of underage girls, some as young as 14, forcing them to have sex with his powerful friends. Joining us on the phone now is Julie K. Brown, an investigative reporter for the Miami Herald. It was her reporting that really reopened the Epstein sex abuse case. Thank you for joining us. First of all, your reaction to the news.
Well, I'm pretty surprised. He had allegedly tried this before, so you would have thought that they would have been paying pretty close attention to him and had, people really watching him. He should have been on suicide watch as it is, so it's kind of surprising.
There's word that he hung himself. It was an apparent hanging in the jail. Again, that's according to the New York Times, and that's their reporting from other officials. And this is coming. What's interesting about this is one of the other lead stories today were these hundreds of pages of previously sealed documents that were unsealed yesterday from one of his accusers, Virginia Giuffre's defamation suit. Tell us about that. Do you think that he had gotten word that had happened?
Yeah, of course he got word of that. I mean, the documents that were released yesterday were pretty damning. They included the names of some people, very powerful people, and he doesn't look like he's going to be. He would have left jail anytime soon. Sort of the walls were crashing in on him, and this is a man that isn't used to living life like this. I mean, even when he was jailed here in Florida, he had a pretty cushy existence, being able to leave the jail every day with his own valet and going to his office and greeting guests. And so this kind of, jail treatment that he was having in New York was a far cry from anything that he had had here before or ever really in his life.